I'll try to make this short. Just want to go over our reasons for assessment technology. So, when we think about assessments, and as I said on the last week, that assessment really drives instruction. For example, getting ready to teach someone about fractions, and I give them a pretest, and everybody scores 100 on it, then do I really need to teach this? The same way, if I give them a summative exam after I taught them something, and everybody bombs it, well, I probably need to go back in and reteach that. So the two types of that I just mentioned are the formative assessment and summative assessment. Instructional technologies, assessment technologies can really assist with this. In particular, formative assessment, because these are the assessments that we use in the moment to really guide our instruction and to guide students' learning tactics. And when I was teaching, in the K-12 classroom 15 years ago, we didn't have these, and so the way that I knew if students were getting the information was I may ask them a question, and a student or two would raise their hand, and so I'd know those students understood the content. Or maybe I would have a little, couple of question, multiple choice quiz that I would give them. But even that, it would have taken me a day to grade it. And so I didn't get that immediate feedback that assessment technology can provide me as the instructor and the students, right? So if I'm giving, an assessment with Google Forms or Kahoot or Clickers, I know in that moment exactly who got it and who didn't, not just the people who raised their hand. This could be a pro and a con, right? The con that, primarily I think about in the literature is that sometimes this throws young teachers off, right? If you just taught something and you give them an assessment and everybody bombs the assessment, it may cause trouble for new teachers because a lot of times that's the only way they know to teach that information, right? So what's one technology integration barrier that both of these just kind of connect to some of our price readings? This is Clickers on the left-hand side, and it's a smartphone, right? Or Clickers. You guys may have used these. Some of the quote-unquote older of you may have used these in college. I know we used to use them here. You could buy them in the bookstore for about $15. The barrier here that they could face would be access due to cost, right? Those we have a set of these in the closet here that we don't use in the School of Ed anymore, but they were several $1,000s for a classroom set of those Clickers. In the same way with the phone, not everybody has access to them. So what are 3 benefits from our readings about assessment technology? There's a ton of them, right? Research shows that, and just to kind of be clear here, I mentioned this before, we'll see a lot of older citations. I always try to find new articles, like the article I shared with you on this is a newer article, but it ends up citing a lot of old research. And the way that this works in instructional technology, I know I mentioned this before, is so these assessment technologies started to emerge around 2007. So the mid-2000s. And so what happens in instructional technologies, everybody descends on the technology, all the faculty, the researchers, they research it, and then they kind of understand it and move from there. Among these new technologies like the Wang article that you guys didn't read, but that I cite later in here, do we see that, new research emerges. But positive effect on student performance on exams. Students tend to enjoy it. That's definitely true, as we know with Kahoot, right? That gamification. We can differentiate instruction, because some of the technologies allow us to embed colored video or colored images. I can think of my daughter when she was learning coin, money, specifically coins, and they would have pictures of them on the handouts, but they don't look anything like that. So, having colored images, inserting videos are just two of the ways that we can differentiate instruction through instructional assessment technologies. Interaction, right? If students are holding a clicker in their hand or holding or being asked, like with a Nearpod or a Pear Deck presentation, the old PowerPoint, and they're constantly having to answer questions and you're gathering that data, then they're going to be more engaged. They're going to be more attentive. Research even shows, like with college students, that attendance improved. Students are more motivated as well as increased learning. Okay, just some other benefits. Key in Lesage, again, this is an old article that was cited in your reading, allowing teachers to modify instruction based on that. Feedback they get is another benefit, as well as anonymity, right? So students are reluctant to hold their hands. Yeah, we have popsicle sticks and other methods that we use to make sure that we're calling on all the students, but still some students are reluctant, afraid to ask questions, and depending on how you set up your assessment technology, students can respond anonymously. They're green, right? Assessment technologies are green. When I was teaching in the classroom, that the hardest working thing in the school was the copy machine that was going at 6 in the morning and still going at 6 in the evening. That's another benefit of this. Students enjoy, like I said before, Kahoot. They're time saving. You're not going to have to spend your night grading papers if you use these tools. Another one is, I mentioned earlier, is gamification, right? Which this is the article by Wang, which gamification is just where we turn the assessment into a game. It creates energy, it creates enthusiasm. So again, students are more engaged, they're more motivated. This article by Wang, which I think was from 2016, showed that there was not the primary gist of the article and the research was that there was very little wear-off effect using Kahoot with students in college. There was increased learning, there was increased motivation. Students even came to class because they wanted to more. They reported, the students reported, but the main component of it was that there was no wear-off effect. So that's a little bit of information about assessment technologies.